There's been a lot of talk recently about the reforms needed in the criminal justice system that include how judges at the federal level are appointed for life, elected at the state level, and how they are performing their jobs. These conversations usually involve legal scholars, advocacy groups, and politicians. They very rarely involve those that are intimately and directly impacted, present and past, justice-involved individuals. With the state of political climate in this country, political party affiliation seems to be the main criteria for gaining an appointment to the federal bench. It does not seem to matter that during the vetting process for a federal judgeship, questionable actions and opinions are discovered as long as the individual holds the same views as the political parties and their past rulings or papers they've authored align with this agenda appears to be the only thing that matters when lifetime appointments are handed out. As the recent past has shown, the political parties in power dictate the political strife of those selected to sit on the federal bench. The rationale for lifetime appointments usually revolves around the need for people on the bench with a plethora of legal knowledge. I would argue that due to the ever-changing of what was once thought to be settled law, the ever-increasing creation of laws by state and federal legislators to keep up with our ever-evolving society, and the ever-increasing use of technology in the courts and the greater society, that the laws have not kept up with. But someone sitting on the bench for 20, 30, 40 years no longer makes sense. On the state level, like anyone else running for election, seeking a job is a popularity contest. The voters very rarely know anything about anyone running for a judgeship. Your popularity being based on how much dirt you can sling at your opponent and how entertaining you can be while doing it. When you factor in the structured sentencing scheme utilized in North Carolina, judges are just a rubber stamp for whatever the district attorney wants. Judges on the state Supreme Court and appellate courts are constantly being accused of activism from the bench. An example of this can be seen in the dissenting opinion of Chief Justice Martin in North Carolina v. Rankin, filed on December 21st, 2018. He admonished the court's decision in this case as judicial activism, interpreting the law in a manner never intended by the General Assembly. All the while, these same courts are constantly returning cases back to the lower courts due to judges incorrectly or improperly applying the law. They are frequently injecting their personal ideologies. These lower court judges are also far too often accepting plea bargain deals that the defendants do not truly understand, all in the name of keeping the wheels of justice rolling. As to the district attorneys, their election campaigns are also a popularity contest. Their tough-on-crime record thrown in for an extra boost in ratings. In today's courtrooms, we have politicians running the show. If truth and justice are found, it is by accident. The protests over police brutality and misconduct have been occurring frequently, deservedly so. What I have not seen is protests over the number of people, innocent people, that had ended up in prison, some of them on death row, but many still sitting in a cell. Will Owens Jones being one of them, due to prosecutorial misconduct. Will sits here at Nash Correctional Institution while the evidence in his case clearly shows his innocence. Between 1999 and 2016, 12 innocent people, human beings, were freed from death row. The cost to the lives of these individuals and their families is incalculable, parts of their lives that they can never get back. Over the years, many innocent people have been put to death, killed by the state in the name of justice. The cost to taxpayers for sending these individuals to death row reaches into the millions. Would this money have been better spent on the education system? This prosecutorial misconduct usually gains nothing more than a slap on the wrist if punishment is meted out at all. A common sense solution, at least as I see it, is to get the politics out of the courtroom. Get judges back to judging the innocence or guilt of an individual based on the evidence presented in accordance with the law, court rules, and common sense, not public opinion. If someone is found guilty, have the sentencing commiserate with the individual case, not solely based on a sentencing chart or algorithm created from flawed data. At the federal level, an independent agency needs to be created, tasked with drafting a list of qualifications or judge to sit on the federal bench. This agency would be responsible for vetting the applicants for a judgeship position. This agency would hire judges just like any other job. This would allow for a judge to be fired if innocent people end up in a prison cell or higher courts constantly overturning their flawed decisions. The same should take place at state level. There should be no more elections for any judges or district attorney positions. If you want to be a district attorney or judge, fill out an application. Hiring people for these positions would go a long way to bring more accountability to these people. It will require these individuals to be beholden to the law, not those that fill their campaign war chest or political base. It's time to bring integrity back into the courtroom. And now I'd like to bring in Will Owens Jr., the man I recognized earlier.
Oh yes, I'm the Will that wrote Just Us or Just Us. I was wrongfully incarcerated, wrongfully prosecuted, and now I sit in prison for 25 years for something I didn't do, and the state know I didn't do it. The person that supposed to committed the alleged offense that I was wrongfully convicted of has a horseshoe branded on his right bicep. I have neither a horseshoe on my left or my right bicep. My lawyer failed to bring that to the attention of the judge. I sit here now, I ask for help from many different state entities, from the Prison Legal Service, from the Innocent Commission, and also the Innocent Project. Everyone tells me that I don't meet their criteria, but their job is to investigate if a person says they're innocent. I was taken away from my family, my daughter. I lost my mom last year. That was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me behind these walls because that was my support system. I wrote home to family asking them for support. No one answered my calls or write me back. The relationship with my daughter has been tainted because of you, the state, failed to investigate crimes of these people. You have judges that sit in these places that knowing something is wrong in their courtrooms, it don't change it. You have prosecutions that wrongfully convict people and go home and sleep at night. You have these DAs, you have these court-appointed attorneys that don't care nothing about innocent or guilt. They just care about a conviction. January the 6th, 2021 has showed me a lot that where we at in this country, because those wasn't ordinary people who stormed the Capitol. Those were doctors, those were lawyers, those were attorneys, those were DAs, those were councilmen, those were Olympic gold medalist winners, those were military personnel. So those weren't ordinary people. So when we put our money in the hand of people that we think are supposed to represent us, who are we getting? Because we don't know. The same people that say liberty and justice for all, they walk the left-hand path. And we're here to suffer for it. There's a lot of innocent men and women inside these prisons. But we get no justice. It's just us. So that's why I came up with the hashtag, What About Us? Because there's a lot of us that's been given these baseball sentences for something we didn't do, and they failed to correct.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So I will end this call on this. We need change. We need change. And I appreciate you for your time, for your listening. And I've been screaming this for 6 years now. Can anyone out there hear me? I'm an innocent man sitting in prison for something I did not do. Can y'all please help? Thank you.